this message is just for you. You are good enough. This is the episode for you. When people are thinking about learning a language for the first time, one of the most common questions they ask or search Google for is, but how long? How long have you been studying for? How long until people reach B2? How long until we are fluent? And then they ask, how many hours should I study per week? How much time should I spend on vocabulary? How much of my time should I dedicate to whatever? And the list goes on. And with both types of questions, what they really want to know is, how long will it take me and how long should it take me? But I truly believe that time isn't the real question. I think we've got two problems here. Number one, measuring the years won't tell you how long it's going to take. And number two, measuring the hours won't tell you when you've done enough. They are just not the questions that are going to bring you the data that you're actually looking for. Take two examples of two different kinds of people. There are so many people around us that we know who've studied a language here and there for 10 years or more, but they've done it around a full-time job, children, pets, a social life, sport 3 times a week. And then there's another breed of person, those who have spent the same decade learning a language every day up to postdoctoral level in a university, living and breathing that language from the minute they wake up to the time they fall asleep. It's all the content that they consume, it's all the writing that they produce, it's all the conversations they have. They studied for the same number of years, but within that, the actual number of the number of hours and the intensity of hours is so vastly different. They had completely different journeys, and so of course they had completely different outcomes within the same time period. And having a lot of time pass while learning a language, it doesn't tell us any specific story at all. And yet we use time so often as a stick to beat ourselves with as we spin our own narratives about our skills as language learners. How many times have you heard people say, as adults, that they couldn't possibly learn a language because they studied French for 10 years at school, and yet they can barely order a coffee now? Those people are completely discounting the fact that they probably studied in a chaotic environment, possibly when they weren't interested at all, and in a curriculum where speaking barely featured. But they are still concluding that if it took 10 years then as a child, it's probably going to take 20 years as an adult. And it's exactly the same when we get caught up in how many hours we should be studying per day or per week. When we hear that someone we respect studies their language for, say, 4 hours a day, it can be so easy to fall into the trap of telling ourselves the story that if we can just tick off those 240 minutes every day without fail, then we're on a path to success. But as data goes, that is not good data. Because if we spend all those 240 minutes doing things that don't really move us closer to our goals, the ones that we defined as success in our language learning, or if we're being really inefficient in some way, Getting the 4 hours in might be depleting our energy, but without giving us the results that we want. So if there is one takeaway from this video, it's this: we cannot connect time to results without also connecting the right use of that time with results. So if you're asking for time frames, and we all do it, it's fine to want a ballpark figure. Just remember that context is everything. Don't ask for the years without asking how much time they spent studying in those years. And don't ask for the hours without asking what sorts of activities they were doing in those hours. And don't ask them how long it took them to reach their goals without also asking what exactly their goals were. Stop measuring the years, stop measuring the hours, and start measuring the results, because it's what we achieve in that time that really matters. And I know this journey can feel long sometimes, but you are making progress and you will get there. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you back here tomorrow.